Welcome to Crypto Tutors. We are humanizing cryptocurrency and blockchain and are bringing the best trailblazers and success stories like Isaiah Jackson, Tanya Evans, Ian Bellina, Cleve Messidor, and Tinashe Nitaganga on the Crypto Couch. Click subscribe and the bell to be the first to watch the latest interviews every single week.
Let's talk about basics. Let's go back to the basics.
Fundamentals.
Right. And really figure it out for yourselves, because then you can be much more armed and ready to be like, I know what this is about. I know what questions to ask. I know what gaps to fill. And so that's where we really kind of honed in on.
And so where was this happening? Was this a virtual thing as far as like the education was like, where were things happening? What were also some of the people that were a part of the community, especially early on? And how has that changed to present day 2021?
Well, I think it was great because most people felt a really strong sigh of relief when they were like, yeah, it's not about the tech. When they came into the space, they were welcomed as, we were not going to talk about it at all. I was the tech person, but I wasn't going to focus and, inundate them with tech terms. So the business was really that part. And again, leveraging their own skill set. So we had a lot of, I would consider, middle career individuals who were like, I'm interested and I want to know where to go with it. Like, what should I be learning at this point? So that's when we began the platform. We had the Black Consortium International, and then we had Black Tech Studies, which was just a nice Thinkific platform with some of the courses that we created based upon the feedback that we were getting. So it's like, what do you want to know? How would you like it? And again, it was always from our perspective that made it much more kind of sensible. There was a whole lot of information out there, but again, it's sometimes hard to consume just when you don't know where to go. You want somebody to talk to you and, tell you what you want to know in the way you want to know it. And so that's what we took that approach. So we were doing that. And we also had some, official meetups. We had a wonderful conference in Maryland in 2018. And, it was just one of those things. We were definitely trying our best to make sure we were helpful and always readily available for those who wanted to know more and where to plug in at any different stage. So we had, like I said, different people coming in from very young to very old, people who wanted to write books, people who just wanted to figure it out, some people who were just like, just show me what I need to know so I can help somebody else. So it was great.
So basically you're saying you started a movement and that movement continues to this day. And, when you launched the organization, did you have, a vision of what you intended it to be or do? Or was it just like a bunch of amazing people getting together and saying, we want to make a difference, we want to provide education?
Well, we had a wonderful group, I would say, because I'm a co-founder. So we had a CEO who was very much the visionary, who had the lofty goal of educating 1 million Black people. That was really her strong point. Sheree Rourke was definitely all about the education portion and making sure anybody and everybody could have the availability to that information if they wanted it. So that was kind of the mission that drove us. And again, we just took it where it was going to go. We definitely listened to our community. Some things they wanted to know hot and heavy, we gave it to them. Others like, we need to slow down.
What were some of the hot and heavy topics? People were like, we need to know this. Tell us what to do and how to do it.
They really want to know how to be a consultant. Like, where do I talk about it? How do I make a business right now? Like, everybody wanted to understand, like, how do I, as Sheree would always say, hang up a shingle. So they really wanted to understand that. And I was like, okay, do you want to be a consultant? What are those practical things that you need to know? Because you are able to teach once you have an understanding, and it's really about asking the right questions. So I'm like, again, this is not, you're going to go into a Fortune 500 company and, talk to their CIO and say, this is what you're going to do. But there are ways to approach the situation and be very much like, okay, are you thinking about blockchain? Because it's not it's not solving every problem in the world. It is a very specific technology and infrastructure that can be used and can be helpful. And other times it's not really worth the bang for its buck. So that's where you have to be able to determine that. So we definitely spent a lot of time helping people ascertain how to ask the right questions in the blockchain space.
And, that's incredible. Your organization are near and dear to our heart, because at Crypto Tutors, we're very much about how do we administer an education where the discussion is laymanized. It's so important to keep it simple and you know, approachable and as non-intimidating as it can be. So out of curiosity, tell me a little bit about, of the folks that were a part of the community, did any interesting projects come out of the guidance and the education you provided? Any people that we may know about now?
Well, we definitely, I think, like I said, we gave people what they wanted. So I said, we were really proud of our SIMBA Chain Association because that was a really nice deal. We had them on the show. We used to have a blockchain chat every Wednesday, and we just formed a great relationship with them. So that was one of the things too, that we went out into the world and brought back people that maybe our community wouldn't have access to. And they were just so generous and really helping with that same kind of fervor of let's educate people, that we began that project, and that took off really well. I think that to see it and watch people, you know, be a little hesitant and be like, I don't know, to, you know, asking questions and to moving things around and doing things like, hey, do you want to see my project? It was really a great thing to see. And I think that was one of my proudest moments is to see that happening and people just taking away their information and feeling empowered. We have a lot of individuals in the community that went to work and were like, yeah, I can answer that question now. I know what that is. And people got jobs. And I just think it really was something that we could always point back to and say, we're here and we've done what we needed to do. And we're kind of foundational. I think we're not always in the forefront, but we're just always here. I call it like parenting. You can keep going and doing what you need to do. And we're always here to answer any questions you may have.
I love it. And, you know, what a noble cause, because let's face it, the future of work is really the present. So let's talk about blockchain. Let's dive into, you know, some of the applications that most people it would never cross their minds outside of crypto, for example.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a healthcare person, so that is my specialty for about 10 years right now. So for me, that was one of the strongest pushes is like, how can we fix what's broken? And the pandemic showed us clearly that it was more than broken. It was hobbling along. And as I say, it's like the car on the side of the road. It no longer needs to work. You're not going to do any repair. You need to fix it kind of structurally. And so that really is the strongest part that I can see. And most people think, oh, is it just collective information? At this point, we saw with the pandemic that we not only needed collective information, we needed readily accessible and trustworthy information in a real-time aspect. And that's what we did. And logistics, again, we wouldn't have a toilet paper incident if we had a supply chain that could literally show us where the deficits, there were warehouses filled with the things that we needed. We just couldn't get them.
Want to learn more? Visit cryptotutors.com.